それでは本日も英字ニュースを読んでいきます。
Inflation rate in Eurozone holds steady. Consumer prices in the Eurozone rose 5.3% in August compared with a year earlier, sticking at the same pace as the previous month, and defying economists' expectations for a slowdown, according to an initial estimate by the Statistics Agency of the European Union. While inflation has slowed materially from its peak of above 10% in October, there are signs that some inflationary pressures are persistent, even as the bloc's economy weakens. Food inflation was again the largest contributor to the headline rate, rising 9.8% from a year earlier. On average across the 20 countries that use the euro currency, inflation was also given some upward momentum by energy costs, which rose 3.2% in August from the previous month. Core inflation, which strips out food and energy prices, and is used as a gauge of domestic price pressures, slowed to 5.3% from 5.5% in July. By country, higher energy prices add to inflation pressures in the region's largest economies. In some of the Eurozone's largest economies, rebounding energy prices offset slowing food inflation. The annual rate of inflation accelerated to 5.7% in France and to 2.4% in Spain this month. In Spain, inflation fell below 2%, the European Central Bank's target, in June, but has since climbed back above it. Inflation in Germany, Europe's largest economy, was 6.4% in August, slowing only slightly from the previous month, as household energy and motor fuel costs increased. What's next? The European Central Bank weighs another rate increase. The acceleration of inflation in some of the region's largest economies arrives 2 weeks before the European Central Bank's next policy meeting. As analysts parse the data, the question is whether the reports are troubling enough to persuade policymakers to raise interest rates again at their mid-September meeting. The central bank has raised rates 9 consecutive times, by 4.25 percentage points in about a year. And there is growing evidence that higher rates are restraining the economy, particularly as lending declines. Last month, Christine Lagarde, the president of the central bank, said she and her colleagues had an open mind about the decision. In September and subsequent meetings, policymakers are trying to strike a balance between raising rates enough to stamp out high inflation and not causing unnecessary economic pain. We might hike, and we might hold, Ms. Lagarde said. And what is decided in September is not definitive. It may vary from one meeting to the other. On Thursday, before the Eurozone data was released, Isabel Schnabel, a member of the bank's executive board, said that underlying price pressures remain stubbornly high, with domestic factors now being the main drivers of inflation in the euro area. This means a sufficiently restrictive policy stance is needed to return inflation to the bank's 2% target. In a timely manner, she added.
いかがだったでしょうか。あなたが英検1級に合格できることを祈っています。それではまた次の動画でお会いしましょう。